Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I'm your host, Sergeant John Perrine, the Public Information Officer for the Indianapolis District. The Roadshow is brought to you each and every week by the Indiana State Police Alliance and Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the State Police Alliance. For more information about our sponsor, you can visit them at www.indianasfinest.com. We want to thank everybody who makes the show possible each and every week. Our friends at MS Communications, Miss Terry Stacy, Kyle Knezovich, and Matt Hiblin for all they do to get us on the radio waves across the great state of Indiana. And our favorite cameraman, the guy that prefers to stay behind the camera but does a fantastic job, Mr. Tom Trial, who puts us on YouTube each and every week. You can find a lot of Tom's work on the Indiana State Police YouTube channel. Just search Indiana State Police on YouTube, and not only will you see all of the road shows that he has graciously recorded and put on there, but also a lot of historical data, state police graduations, informational retiree stories, a lot of really cool things on the Indiana State Police YouTube channel. Please check it out when you get a chance. Back again for one of our favorite guests, because he's such a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this. We're going to talk about scams and ways people are losing money, unfortunately, recently. Mr. Tim Maniscalco, right?
Close enough? That's exactly
Maniscalco. All right.
Exactly perfect.
From the Indiana Better Business Bureau, Tim comes to us with some warnings about some recent things. Tim, welcome, and thanks for coming in.
Oh, I'm really happy to do this. This is a great way to get the word out to people about, like you say, scams that are going on, and hopefully ways where people can protect themselves. And really the big thing here is almost all these scams, they originate outside the country, and law enforcement like you, it's almost impossible for you folks to catch them and to bring them to justice. So getting the word out is really the best defense we have against scams. You just have to be aware of what's going on. Tim,
and I tell you, they almost got me a couple nights ago. And you like to think that you're pretty savvy on this, but here's exactly what happened. My wife says, "Hey, did you buy something with my Apple ID?" And I said, "No." She's like, "Well, this game." And I said, "Well, maybe one of the kids." And I'm thinking, "No, that doesn't sound like a game our kids would buy." I mean, my kids are very young and they don't have the passwords, But anyway, she's like, "Well, I need to click this to say that it wasn't us." And I said, "Oh, yeah. And I said, "Wait a minute, let me look at it." And then I pulled it up. I looked at the email address that it came from, and it wasn't anything legitimate Apple. And I said, "Wow, I almost had her click the link."
Yeah, I tell you what, they are very, very crafty. You think you're doing something innocent, and all of a sudden then you got yourself in trouble. We had a similar situation a couple of years ago. My wife was working on a document, and one of the pop-up thing said, "Hey, if your computer's going to crash if you don't call this number." So she starts to call the number, and I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "No, that's okay." She says, "Well, I don't want to lose this document. My computer's going to crash." I said, "Don't call the number.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone. This is just a scam." So yeah, anybody falls for it. So it's so easy. They are so like I say, crafty, and get you in a situation where you really aren't thinking about it.
That's right.
That's really their modus operandi.
They've really learned to pander on fears, because you think, "Oh man, I'm being scammed." Well, you are being scammed, but you think you're correcting the scam by using whatever service they're offering, and sometimes that's just the beginning of their efforts.
Yeah, like I say, these folks are incredibly crafty, and with so much interaction and communication now happening on the internet. And it's so easy just to click here, that type of thing. They know that, and just one little push of your index finger, and boom, you're someplace where you don't want to be.
Well, it all comes down to slow down a minute and think about what's happening. Does it make sense? Is it logical? And do a little research, because once I really started examining that email that my wife got, I thought this doesn't look like a legitimate email. But being in a hurry, I think, click the link. We don't want to lose the $3 or $4 that it said we spent, so anyway, tricky things. Well, the first topic that we're going to talk about with you is this fake Cash App customer support that's stealing funds. And then these Cash Apps are so popular that people are using to share money, send money, all these things, right. but there's also scammers using it as well.
Yeah, what this is this Cash App is actually, it's a virtual banking app. The company that uses it is actually out of California, and they are a legitimate company. But here's what they've done. In order to cut their costs and to deliver service at the lowest cost, they do not do customer service over an 800 number. all of their customer service is delivered via email. So if you're having a problem or if you need to discuss, a banking transaction or something, there's not an 800 number. You need to do this via email. Well, what the scammers have done is they have posted a fake 800 number saying that they are the customer service for this bank, for this Cash App. You call that up and they say, oh, gee, what's your account number? Yeah. And now all of a sudden they've got your account number and they can go in and steal your money. So if you are using, it's called the Cash App. If you are using that and banking with this company, it's actually the Square company that they produce a lot of the things that you put on your iPhone to, do your credit card and things like that.
Yeah.
Without now they're in the banking business, and a lot of people are doing virtual banking. It's fine. There's no problem with that. And once again, this is a good company, but do not go to their 800 number because that is they don't do customer service via an 800 number. They do it via email. Mm-hmm. So once again, the scammers are seeing a little gap here, and they're trying to get people to use that and get your bank account information and that type of thing. So once again, the Cash App is good. The bank, the company that's running the bank is a good company, but it's the 800 number that is where you get caught. And I will say that this particular bank has been very responsible in trying to put information out there about this. Mm-hmm. But we've had a number of complaints across the country. A number just here in Indiana that have also, complained about this and lost money. So just be careful on this one.
Well, and I think that's a generational thing too. I think some of the younger generations are comfortable communicating by email, text, and all that. But other generations, and I'm kind of on the board, I want to talk to somebody. I want to talk to a human being on the other side. And so they Google the phone number and like, hey, I'm not sending that email. I'm going to call these people. And you're saying that doesn't exist.
Yeah, for this particular company, that's not how they do their customer service. They do it via email. And you're exactly right. They are counting on people like you who say, hey, I want to get on the phone. I want to talk to somebody about, the problem or whatever it is that I've got to talk to them about. So yeah, it's just the scammers, like I say, they are so crafty and really innovative on these types of things, and they look for little gaps like that and will take just about any opportunity to exploit something like that.
Yeah, and that's sad that you can't let your guard down.
No,
if you're using these things, you have to really do your homework every time.
And that's really what they're counting on. Is they're really counting on two things. It's a numbers game. They're going to send out thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of emails or whatever it might be, mm-hmm. knowing that most people won't fall for it. But if you just get a very small percentage of people to fall for it, they've made money. Or things like this where, hey, yeah, everybody has an 800 number customer service, right? So you think this is a legitimate person that I'm talking to, and in this case, it's not.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next, because we have so many things we'd like to talk about today. Is everybody likes to get a good deal. You're shopping for something, and man, I found a good deal, and these scammers have found a way to kind of exploit current events and things like that to make it seem like it's a great deal. And that is scrolling through Facebook, see a business going out of business due to COVID-19, have to sell everything. And tell us about how this scam's working. Yeah,
like you said, unfortunately, there are a lot of businesses because of COVID-19 that are being forced out of business, and they are having some very good going out of business sales. But what the scammers have done is they will pose as maybe some, designer sounding sort of name out of New York or Paris or something like that, and say, hey, we've got these designer goods, Louis Vuitton, purses and things like that, or high-end electronic sorts of things at just rock bottom prices, prices you never see in your lifetime. So you're thinking, hey, man, I'm going to get a great deal here on a designer good. Well, when you go to these sites and spend your money, either you're not going to get anything, or the Louis Vuitton purse that you thought, it's not going to be a Louis Vuitton purse. It's going to be a cheap ripoff. Uh-huh. Same with the electronic goods. It's not going to be the quality and the type of good that you thought you were going to get. So once again, they're using current events, in this case COVID-19, people knowing that there are a lot of good going out of business sales out there right now, but not quite this good. So it's always important, number one, to check that URL. You want to make certain that the URL has the letters HTTPS S is the important letter there. And then also that little lock icon, it looks like a little padlock, that gives you added security. Also, pay with your credit card. You're always going to have the most protection with your credit card. But once again, if the price is just so incredible, you're not going to get a Louis Vuitton purse for $50. They're just not going to be a real Louis Vuitton purse. So just you use your common sense on things like that.
And it's so hard because you think, wow, what a great deal. It makes sense. They've got to get rid of this stuff, and before you know it, like you said, you're getting fake goods or you're getting scammed out of your money. So it's important to know where you shop.
It is, and like we said, tell people, check the URL and also always pay with your credit card. Those are two protections that you can use that are going to maybe keep you from losing your money.
Yeah, and I've fallen for, they weren't necessarily scams, but on Facebook before, where something looks like a great deal, a great thing, and you order it, and 3 months later it shows up and it's nothing what you expected. And I've done it with some toys for my kids and things like that.
Sure. And once again, they make things look like they're the real thing, or that it's a great deal, and it just doesn't pan out. If you could actually see the good, boy, you'd never spend your money on that.
Yep, and surprisingly, we only have about 3.5 minutes here, Tim, but I do want to get into this last topic because it is such a hot topic, and that is these political scams that are happening. We're a month away from the election or less, and people are exploiting that to try to make some money.
Yeah. Well, first off, one of the things that the law says on these robocalls is that you can't have political calls. So they've kind of made an exception. The politicians have made an exception. Well, the scammers are taking advantage of that, and there's a couple things that they're doing. Number one, let's say there's a cause that you believe in, whatever it might be. Scammers are going to come and they're going to call you and they're going to say, hey, give money for whatever it might be, a particular issue or something like that. They're going to be very, very pushy, very, very aggressive, want you to give money right away. The money that you're given isn't going to that cause. It's just going into someone's pocket. So be careful of people, particularly if they're very, very aggressive, very, very pushy on a particular cause. If you do want to give to that cause, I suggest you go out to the website. There's usually ways you can give via the website, but don't give money over the phone, particularly if these are very aggressive people. Number two, people will take something that a candidate said, a speech or something like that, record it. Once again, put that on a robocall, soliciting money from you. Then they say, hey, will you give me money? You're going to be switched over to somebody who's willing to take your credit card. That's not the political candidate. They just took their recording. They just took their things that they said in a speech and put it on a recording, did a robocall, and once again, they're trying to get your money. So we see, a lot of this. And like you said, over the next several weeks, a lot of political activity is going to be going on. You're going to get called a lot of times, and just be very, very careful of that. And then the last one that we've seen is on polling. If you get called on a poll, and some people get called on polls, I've been called on polls before, they're going to want your opinion on who you're going to vote for or your side of the issue on different things. But there are some people who say, hey, for participating in this poll, you've won a prize. We just need for you to pay for the shipping and handling. Can you give us your credit card number? Yeah. Well, legitimate pollers, they're not going to do that. They're just there. They want your opinion. So don't fall for that one either.
Yeah. Tim Maniscalco from the Better Business Bureau, with a minute left here, what resources do you guys offer for somebody who's just not quite sure? Can they call you? Can they go on your website? What do you guys offer? Yeah,
probably the best thing to do for scams is we've got this great website called scamtracker.org, scamtracker.org. So what you do is you go on there, and there's a map of the United States that comes up, and then you can hone right into, let's say, Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Evansville, wherever, and you'll see all these little dots where people have reported scams. So you can see what scams are going on in your area, and then also up in the top right-hand corner, the red button says Report a Scam. This is a great tool to see what's going on. The scams are updated daily, so they can come and see exactly what's going on, and it's very granular, so you can see really what's going on in your particular neighborhood. And then we encourage people that if you've been scammed or attempted to be scammed, please report that on Scam Tracker, because that's really our way of getting the word out to people. You can check to see, hey, if you got an email, boy, there's a similar sort of scam on Scam Tracker, so I'm not going to answer that email. And then we take that data every year and we put out a great report on Scam Tracker. So,
all right. Thank you very much, Tim. And more information at betterbusinessbureau.com.
Thank you.